Thanks, Basil. I just want to give you a bit of an insight into the Saturday afternoon team. We're a bunch of unique individuals.
Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the Unique Individuals podcast. Good to have all the boys alongside me once again. How are we going, guys?
Happy to be here, mate. As always, should be a ripper of an episode. Can't wait.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Can't wait. Back again. We love it.
Yeah, good to be here, boys.
Yeah, well, boys, a little bit crook, but glad to see you lads again. So keen to get into it.
Good to be back in the studio once again. So we don't have any punishments this week. I guess unfortunate for the lovers out there and the fans who I guess like seeing the punishments every week.
Yeah, good for the unique individuals panel members though.
Yeah, I mean none of us had to go through
Great
hell.
result.
None of us had to go through hell,
Very
but
good.
yeah, so none this week because I guess we all got our tips right. But we'll get straight into, I guess, what's been happening with us recently. We'll start with Connor. Connor, what's been happening with you, mate?
Look, nothing probably this week, I guess. I've been a bit crook, haven't really gone out and about. But in terms of the weekend and last week, played footy. I think I said last week that we'd get a better result, but I'm sad to say we didn't really. I think the first 2 weeks we were good, and then the last couple we've been really struggling for numbers. Missing a lot of players, so lost by probably 80, which is obviously not ideal against a bunch of Irish blokes. But they could play footy, and I felt at home. There was a few redheads in there, few more than what there normally is. So felt good, but it was a disappointing result. Didn't play the way we wanted to, but we were just really undermanned down back, and probably could have saved a lot of goals if we just had a couple more actual key defenders, I guess. But
It's been a struggle start for the season, hasn't it?
First 2 games were good. We went 1-1, but next 2 have been bad. Unfortunately, like going up a div, it's always going to get harder.
Yeah.
But our teams have actually got worse, especially the senior team. Lost 4 or 5 like really good players, and we need those guys to actually really compete. But I don't know. Hopefully, as the season progresses, we'll get better and get a few more consistent numbers, but sometimes that's how it is with uni clubs. People come and go a little bit, I guess, on a weekly basis. But yeah, it wasn't great. But I know we move on. Richmond Central this weekend, Twilight's match, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, well, obviously, you speak about the lack of defensive, defensive personnel in the team, and the thing is that although it was an 80-point margin, it didn't feel like it was a game that was 80 points. Like, it was just goals out of the back that pretty much did you. Like, if you guys were able to get on top of it, like, defensively, it could have maybe even been only just 5 goals or something like that. It could have been a better situation than what it was.
Oh, absolutely. That's a fair analysis of it all, I think, because we were relatively competitive. We just couldn't stop them from scoring when they went in due to, those lack of key defenders. They took a lot of goal line marks that, if you got a few blokes in there, a few of our better defenders, it's going to spoil that through for a point rather than be a guaranteed goal. But, I don't know, like I said, hopefully get a few boys back this week. But, these 2 games that we've lost badly, margin-wise, I maintain we could have got, a hell of a lot closer if we had our full side in and, potentially knocked off these teams or been in it for much longer. But, anyway, it is what it is. And, that's what I did. But I also went to Collingwood Sydney game Sunday, and it was a good game for most of it. Looked pretty good. Sydney were actually playing pretty well, just keeping it off Collingwood, and I think that could be a bit of a blueprint for success against the Pies, but failed to capitalise on their work. It was wind was swirly, it was pretty cold, but Collingwood, like they do so often, ran away with it in the last quarter through Brody Myercheck kicking 5.
Now, you did post a story on that day of you at the footy, up in the nosebleeds. But the following day, you told us how that's probably the coldest ever footy game you've ever been to. Describe how cold it was, and I guess were you wearing the appropriate,
Attire.
Attire, yeah.
Oh, it was very cold. Probably wasn't wearing the appropriate attire. I had pants on, but then just had the
I like Jackson.
Yeah, I was going to say, gee, that's a relief.
had the cord jacket. Should have went the Mac pack instead. Went for looks over functionality, I guess.
Really.
But no, it was very cold, and I think that's one of the contributing factors why I'm a bit crook now. So very cold, and then when we went to go to the train, it absolutely pissed down. So didn't get much better, but wanted to see the Swans get up. Thought my boy Jakey Lloyd was good, but yeah, not to be. They just missed too many shots, and Peter Adams, well, he's a genuine liability, and but they shouldn't have booed him. They shouldn't have booed him. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later. I don't know if it was warranted or not, or what it was based on, but that was probably one of the worst games I've ever seen Buddy play. The harder he tried, the worse it got. He just didn't really hit a kick.
Well, he's washed.
Didn't kick a goal. He's obviously not as good as what he used to be, but I think he'd be expecting to play better football than that. Yeah.
Hugo, yourself, mate. You're recovered from the COVID now, so you're all good. You got a gig in the ones for Latrobe Footy, but didn't go quite to plan, unfortunately.
According to the man himself.
Yeah,
I mean,
mate.
I've heard mixed. I've heard some other good reviews on him, but
Okay, I've only heard Hugo's
One of the
point of
best
view.
first quarters I've seen in ages.
Heard some raving reviews.
he's his own harshest critic. But we'll take it away, Hugo. How'd you see your game, mate?
I don't think I played that well. I don't think I got to enough contests and stuff. We lost by 5 goals, I think, in the end for the ones. Sorry, Clay Thompson just got the ball. My bad.
Yeah, he's watching the Lakers game at the moment. He's kind of distracted a bit.
I don't think I got to enough contests. I mean, Jackson said one of the best first quarters. I think I had like 3 touches at quarter time. So
It's what you did with the touches. Like, I'm just going to pinpoint a couple of moments here. I know I'm sort of stealing your limelight for a second, but I just want to point out
Nothing
because
uncommon there.
I think there's there's more credit. I think you deserve more credit than what you're giving yourself. I think there was one play where you took a mark 50 out on the boundary, wheels around a la Buddy style, and hit someone lace out basically 15 metres out in front of goal, which was one of the best kicks I've seen from a big man.
Hugo was pretty rough on himself. Obviously, a bit of a tough day for the big man. It was pretty wet. Mansell, we've been enjoying yourself getting down to a few. He's AFL umpire potential turned spectator, and he's been getting to a few Latrobe games. But that play I actually missed it. Otherwise, it would be captured on my camera. But
And another one you missed as well was the big pluck in the goal square that wasn't paid.
How was that not a mark?
I didn't miss that actually.
Oh,
I
that was the
captured
one
that.
you did,
Yeah, got
yeah.
images of him with the hands on the ball, bringing it down, and you can clearly see from the images. Should have been paid. He should be going back for a set shot and slotting
Put
his
him in
first
front
goal.
as well.
First goal in the ones. He should be. So
Marking infringement's dead. Look at that chop, mate. Almost chopped his arms off. But
And that would have put you guys in front as well.
there you go.
And it would have been, a real welcome. And actually, after the kick, your twos coach said he's like, I don't think we'll be seeing Hugo back down here anytime soon. So if that's a wrap for you, saying that you had a big game, then I don't know what is.
Well, speaking of which, I'll just quickly mention that Hugo has nominated to do Resi's Boundary this week.
has
So
he?
he's backed himself.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I forgot that team selections were a thing. I completely forgot. I was like, after I sent the message, like, oh, actually might not be in the ones next week. So we hope.
we wait and see. Selection night tonight.
Well,
must be nice just to forget about selection and know that you're in.
Well, no, because I'm used to junior footy. Like,
Yeah, no, I know.
they don't change the team every week.
well, luckily the Resies is after the seniors this week. So
Yeah, it's quite an interesting dynamic that. 2 o'clock for the seniors, 4:30 for the Resi. So get down to the Kevin Bartlett Oval /reserve,
Reserve.
and should be a nice little encounter.
Hugo has no further comments on his game. I don't think I played that well.
Well, he did.
Over to you.
He did cramp a few times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was physically challenged.
I can relate to the pain due to my game as well. But yeah, Hugo, on a few occasions, I cramped up a few times, and it was caught on camera too. It's always funny to see someone get cramped. It's like watching someone get hit in the balls in cricket. It's funny if you're not the person.
Yeah, if you have anything go wrong on the footy field, I will snipe you. And I got you just, holding the leg, limping off.
The calf cramp.
Yeah.
How was that for you, Hugo?
Well, it was painful. I think anyone who's had a cramp knows. It's not a fun experience. It went on 3 different occasions. Went twice in the third and 1 in the last. And the one in the last I had to come off, and it took me a good 10 attempts to get off the ground.
Yeah.
'Cause every step or half a step I took, it just went on me again. So that was a bit embarrassing for the first game in the ones. But, we'll move on. We'll try not to do the calf this week.
Yeah, special commentary from Greg, who was at the game viewing it. So look, we might have to take him to the car park in a wheelchair. And I went into the rooms and looked at Hugo, and he couldn't really stand up. He was drinking that beer sitting down, and he was not getting up in a hurry. The legs had to be tested when he had to go and put the jumper in the middle of the room in the tub, and he stood up, and he was not in a great way. Let me just say that.
No, I was supposed to go do an ice bath, but I couldn't even make it over to the ice bath. So
Yeah,
I
you're
was struggling
struggling.
a bit.
Yeah. Blair, yourself, mate, what's been happening with you?
Yeah, nah, boys, not much really. Yeah, I mean, apart from basketball last week, which we'll obviously we can probably get into now. All of us,
All right.
the unique individuals, went out on the court again. It got heated. We're up in
Say
Divi
it was.
3, and we brought the pressure and intensity up a bit too, to match it with some of these big boys. And look, no shade thrown at Mill Park, but whew, some of the boys down there, you don't want to be walking past them in a dark alleyway at night.
No, you don't.
And we got the game underway, and tempers were flaring. We started really well. All the
think
boys were there to
Because
play.
before that, we were like, we don't mind if we lose this game, just go back to Div 4. But, we looked at the scoreboard and we were up by about 8 points.
We
We're
can
like,
take these
we
boys.
got this. We had a good start. Everyone was contributing. But yeah, definitely the tempers got heated out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, Manson, do you want to elaborate, mate? You were probably trying to hold some of us back.
I
out there.
probably had the best view of the incident because 3/4 of you were probably flying or had someone else going at you. But yeah, no, it was definitely didn't believe what was unfolding before my eyes. But it was bound to happen with the way that I think for us, like we just outclassed them with talent and skill, and they tried to fight. They couldn't believe that people half their size were beating them, and I think that's why they went to violence, and some dirty things happened, and then it resulted in an all in blue, and safe to say I had to say my prayers and all that stuff for you guys in that situation because
Were you on the Pine, Mansell?
no, Mason was on the Pine. I was out trying to mediate any king hits coming through.
Well,
so.
to be fair, Mansell, you were nowhere when I put my body on the line when Owen was on the ground and got a big hip and shoulder from this big bloke with a rat's tail that goes down to his bloody bum.
Yeah, but I stopped someone coming in and trying to, go like tomahawk style with the fist.
I needed Mansell's big frame, but yeah, what happened? I mean, Owen coughed up a foul. He made him feel it, I think it's fair to say. And when anyone grins with a little white mouth guard, a cheeky little grin.
What I say is, if I know I'm going to foul someone,
Make it
whether it's
worth it.
footy or basketball, I know in footy on Saturday, as soon as I got this guy a high tackle, I made sure he earns it. I think I grabbed his hair, ripped out a few strands. Like I just make him earn it. Like if you want the free kick, if you want the free throw in whatever sport, I'm going to make him earn it. But yeah, I think the white mouth guy, a little smile, a little cheeky grin after I fouled him. Definitely didn't make him happy. I mean, he could have had the 2 shots, but decided to have a go at me and
Double-handed push,
pushed me on the ground.
got you on the ground and then stood over you.
Didn't bother me.
Stood over you. And then that's when I've sort of come in, copped a
Yeah.
good bump. Just tried to get involved. The umpire, thankfully, blew the whistle about 12 times in a row and got in there and sorted it out.
Ejected the guy.
Yeah, but it was hectic.
Do you remember who it was?
I don't think so.
we
But
don't need to. Discuss.
we don't need to
We don't
do
need
that.
no names, but it was
They'll
pretty,
be on the wanted list at the moment.
it's pretty bloody heated there. Got a little push myself, and I was just trying to hold that bloke off, but I probably should have sort of stayed out of it. And then called both teams for the timeout, and then some bloke followed us and looked like he was going to throw haymakers. So
Yeah, went over to
So
our
it's-
huddle, which
yeah,
was
I
quite
actually
disconcerting.
I was pretty worried there. I was like, shit, this guy's actually going to throw a haymaker at some of us.
Yeah, but no, it was a good game. Everyone contributed well. Everyone performed well.
22-30.
I think
We won.
Hugo was topping the points
Yeah,
again.
10 points for Hugo.
And probably the rebounds too.
Yeah, really good on the boards. Mason with 2, Connor with 2 points, but also really good dribbling.
A couple free throws where they were under.
No,
No, it was
I
the
missed-
N1, the left.
Yeah,
the
no, I
left
missed
layer.
three throws. I took 2 shots, hit one, got fouled, and then missed one, got fouled, but got to work on the 3 throws, unfortunately.
Blair and myself got 7 points each, so it was
Yeah. I got 2 points. Thank you very much.
well,
Did you actually, Mansell?
No.
No, those two were meant to be of mine. So
But if anyone asks, I did get 2 points.
So
anyone
what-
asks,
We'll
what's
give it a minute. But overall, I mean, we all contributed and great team performance, and that's positive signs.
Yeah,
and,
they were a shell of what they once were after that fight. So yeah.
and next week, well, this week actually, this Sunday, another late game.
Same time, same place.
Same time, same place against the Mile High Wildcats.
Yeah.
The Mile High Wildcats.
Yeah,
It's a weird
they-
name.
they
And they've
play-
come down from Div 1/2, so even a tougher opposition.
Jeez.
Well, I saw them in action last week actually before our game,
Ooh.
and I mean, they went about their business like just casually and that. So if we bring our game, we're a chance. So
yeah, but like,
Mansell's our scout.
yeah, he is. He's doing the bit of research and undercover work. But
That's what team manager does.
yeah, but no, it was good to get the dub. It was a really good win, and I obviously come out of it a bit sore, copped a good knee in the ribs, and it's been really
was it a knee or elbow?
No, it was a knee.
Yeah.
I've crouched down to pick up a loose ball, and I got really low. Arms are outstretched, and he's ran past to go for the quick break, and he just got me as I'm bending down, and yeah, it really hurt. It's really this week since basketball I haven't really been able to do much. I wanted to go to the gym or shoot some baskets, but I've been pretty sore. Got an X-ray on it and just got the call before and said there's no fracture that they can see, so that's good. And hopefully just the bruising, but it has been bloody troubling me. I've had Panadol every night to go to bed, so hopefully it sort of starts to feel better soon, and can get back shooting.
Yeah.
But
they're not pleasant getting the old rib injury, whether it's a
it's-
bruised or fractured. I mean, the pain's still pretty much the same. So
it was, and there's not much of me. I'm a little skeleton, so there's not a lot of padding there. So anyway, we cop that and we move on. But yeah, might miss I'll miss this week and probably a couple more. But see how we're feeling and look forward to getting back with you boys and trying to
Yeah.
splash a couple outside.
No, we'll have to step up in your absence, mate, and hopefully go again. But it sounds like another good challenge. Obviously, maybe a better team than what we played last week.
Hopefully a bit cleaner.
yeah, hopefully.
But no, I think that's all I've been doing really. Don't think I've been up to too much else.
Just basketball.
Just basketball and our uni classes, our 2-day-a-week work. So
Yeah.
which
Well,
we don't really.
We'll
do
move.
True.
We'll move on to Jackson now.
Yeah,
I guess speaking of basketball, the basketball challenge is approaching between you and J-Mac, and it's official.
Yeah, I mean, as much as he's tried to chicken out of it a few times,
And he has.
yeah,
He has. He's.
um,
I thought we were friends. Oh, no hard feelings.
I just said it as a joke.
They were
Yeah.
never friends.
well, yeah, Monday 1 p.m. Here at Latrobe. I've got half a court booked for that, so
Oh, he's already booked.
I've booked
That's
it.
lovely.
It's booked. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Grandstands.
Well,
Nah, but bench will be full.
yeah, bench will be full. Yeah, I think although we've booked half a court, I think the full court will be taken up. It'll be surrounding us. Getting ready to go. But yeah, no, it should be a good encounter if J Max says that he's the type of player that he is, then should be a good contest. But yeah, we'll see how we go.
Bit of a bone to pick with you here, Mansell.
With me.
Big fan of the pod. James Toomey
Yeah.
commented on the video. Will it be? He commented on the post. Sorry, the incredible graphic that I did up for the matchup.
And
And read the caption because
you're meant to be doing your sport policy and governance work in that class when you were making that.
somewhere in Spain. Anyway, but Toombs commented, "Will it be recorded?" And for some reason, the comment was hidden on our Instagram.
What?
Which I'm unsure as who, but the man with a past of deleting suggestions and hiding things is Jackson Mansell. So what's going on there?
Mate, that is the first I've heard of that, so I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I actually unhid the comment, so I'm unsure who hid it.
Yeah, I don't know who.
And I replied to young Toombs a day late, unfortunately, but I said, he said, "Will it be recorded?" And I said, "If that's what the fans want, that's what the fans get."
I'm happy for it to be recorded.
It has
So
to be
I'm happy to
recorded.
be
It
recorded.
will
It
be on
always has
record,
to.
but yeah, somebody has been doing a
Yeah.
bit of mischief, and I know it's not Connor because his iPhone 8 or whatever doesn't operate that well.
He doesn't know the password to the account.
He doesn't have the access to the socials.
Yeah, I don't. It wasn't me.
I think
reckon.
Hugo, you don't, do you?
I don't have the
Oh, because
access.
he's Saints videos pinned, and if he did have the
Yeah.
access, he'd delete it straight away.
Absolutely.
So-
I know Blair and I
Yeah,
do, but we wouldn't. take that.
I have no idea what
Comment
you're
down.
talking
Well,
about.
I responded to the comments. So,
And
yeah,
I would
sure.
keep it
Mate,
on there.
I would have welcomed that with open arms had I seen it. So
Hmm.
I only saw it today,
Interesting.
so-
Suspicious.
anyway, yeah, seems like someone doesn't want any footage.
Mate,
Spread of the
Don't worry,
I
there's gonna be
welcome the
there's gonna
footage,
there is going
so-
to be footage.
Yeah.
Nah, but it's gonna be good.
We'll get behind both of them.
It's
both
at
of
the
them, but mainly-
Latrobe Sports Centre, not the one across the road.
No.
It's at the one close to Glen College,
At the old
not
indoor
far
sports
from
centre.
NASA, the old indoor sports centre. Not if you for those viewers coming from long distance, Car Park 6 is the closest to
Yeah.
to get there, and just a little walk down.
So
happy
is
to meet you
Is
there.
it like near the gym or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is the
It
gym
is the
one.
gym,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where you got to be. Just clarifying, we don't want any any keen viewers wandering across the road to Tony Sheehan area and watching the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, and look, you'll get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's going to be. Look, I'm not backing down. I want a 3-point contest and a 1v1,
Yeah.
and we want substantial time. We want them puffing, these boys. So we'll see how we go there, and can't wait for
We
it.
want them
Yeah.
pumping.
No,
No,
should be
absolutely.
good,
We,
so-
We want them sweating. We want to work hard.
I'll battle to enforce the full court if I can.
Oh.
I mean, yeah. So.
No,
Anyway,
it's good. But yeah, no. Also today I had a press conference like you guys had your press conferences. I know for your subjects, but me as a part of the Inner Sanctum, I went out to the launch of the Big Freeze campaign for Big Freeze 9 and out at the town hall, and safe to say that you're rubbing shoulders with with the top echelon of AFL journos, personnel, and all that there, and yeah, it was definitely a sight to behold. I haven't had the experience of a in-person presser before, but it was good to see. And they unveiled a mural in honour of Neil Danaher and his contribution to the MND community. And yeah, it was a great opportunity to get out there and see how it goes. Get some insight myself, and just some of the people you run into, like I'm walking out the door, having a chat to Andrew Dillon, just having a chat with some of the players and everything like that, some of the journos, and yeah, no, it's definitely a good experience. But
Yeah, a question on the Inner Sanctum work. Obviously, you've been doing it for probably a few months now, and it's covering sort of a different range. You've been doing a bit of netball, which is new to you, and obviously we had that presser that went a bit left field. But apart from that, it's all pretty much been smooth sailing. I mean, what would you say to people out there? Like, obviously, the opportunities that you're getting with the Inner Sanctum, and how are you finding it so far, being part of that, and the opportunities that come with being able to, they pretty much help you produce the stories. Really, they give you the opportunity to go along and write them up.
Well, that's the thing. So, I mean, they've got the contacts at least to get us into those press conferences and that. But, and it's a great company to work for and stuff that do some work with. I suppose my advice would be it's not just with if you're in the journalism field or just with everything. Just take the opportunities that you get. Like I started this all. All started writing for a mate's website, shout out to the Fizz, and then it passed on from there. And, I'd like to say I do a fair bit of work, like, during the week, just a fair bit of, like, all volunteer stuff, everything like that. Like, I do a fair bit myself, and, I do it for moments like this where you get where you do get put in these situations where, you're mixing it with like some of the best journos in the field and all that stuff, and yeah, like your work doesn't go unnoticed. Like as cliched as it might sound, like it's there. Like if you put in the work, you'll succeed in whatever you do. So yeah,
quite inspirational there.
Yeah, that's like
Nice little life lesson there.
it's reminiscent of Connor's poster of Nelson Mandela on the wall. It's the same sort of vibe. But yeah, and like, I mean, that's what we're doing with Scribe Sports as well. Like, that's just trying to get the work out there. But nah, well done, man. So it sounded like you're, chatting to Jakey Lever this morning. It was good fun, and yeah, we move on.
thank you.
Oh, we also had a Jimmy Carr.
Yeah,
Oh,
I had
true. We don't
Jimmy
move
Carr
on.
on Saturday night as well, and you talk about political correctness. This was right in the rear vision mirror. There, it was it was 2 hours of absolute laughter. I mean, some of the jokes you think, oh, they're going there, and then they go there, and you just think, like, oh my god, like I mean, nothing that we can repeat on family-friendly audio, like, podcast. But yeah, like it was it was a really funny night, and just the way he goes about it. Like you see the videos and listen to the audio that's online, but this is just another story, and gave the opportunity for people to send in any jokes that they had and stuff like that, and just either roasting people or messages like that. It provides a different element to comedy, and it was definitely a great night. So yeah, but yeah,
Did you get on the beers or?
I was driving. No, yeah,
Can't remember you had that many.
I had to drive to the station. But yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't drink for the night, but yeah, so
Responsible adulting. And I mean, we spoke about cramps earlier. Owen, mate, you know what they feel like. You footy on the weekend. You also, I guess, struggle with the cramping in the calves. But you've had footy and obviously been doing a bit of work on interviewing as well. So tell us your week, mate.
Yeah, so I had footy the other weekend. Coming back from injury, I was, I taped up the wrist and the ankle. Hopefully, that they would be okay, and I pulled up fine.
That's what you want.
With the wrist, that was my main concern. My wrist is fine, so I'm happy with that. And then I could obviously play the day later in basketball. But oh my goodness, I had the worst cramps to mankind in both calves. I go up for a mark in the fourth quarter, take the mark, bring it to ground, but my calves just pop, whilst in the air. And I'm on the ground, helpless, with my legs up. Looks like I'm giving birth or something. I'm like, help! Can't move! With all these explicits, and it's embarrassing. It's something I want to forget, but you just can't do anything. They're so random. I had the pickle juice. I stretched before.
Pickle juice during or prior?
I had it after.
After you'll have to employ someone full time to run a bit of pickle juice out to you.
just in your water bottle.
Yeah.
People was like, the trainer was like, just quickly get it down. You're not gonna like it. I'm like, it's not that bad. Anyway, that's something random. But
Well, yeah. Is it true? I want you to confirm this statement. But is it true you needed crutches after your after the game because the cramp was that bad?
no, I didn't need crutches. But at home, we do have crutches, and
You didn't use them.
I had to use them
Oh.
just for a little bit. No, I couldn't even put weight on my legs, boys. I'm telling you now. It took me about a minute to get from one side of the house to the other.
Is it?
I'd need
forgive me,
surgery,
boys.
no crutches. So,
Boy,
Ronda
just
ripped his
walk on it, boy.
meniscus early off the bone and had surgery on it and walked up a bloody mountain 2 weeks
I
later.
know it sounds
3 days later, level 3, Queen College.
it sounds pathetic, but boys, the pain I was in, especially after I had like a strain down my calves. It was like because usually after a cramp, like you just get it fixed and then you're fine. But the after effect was absolutely terrible.
Was it like the Adam Treloar double hamstring type?
It honestly was.
I was thinking about that before, actually. The double.
And I was like that, just
wriggling
kinda
around on the ground.
Oh, it was embarrassing. But despite that, I actually had a pretty good game. I got in the votes, which was good to see, I guess. I know Dad didn't think I played the best game.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
He's a harsh critic, Chris Watts, but oh well.
yeah, no. I mean, well done. You I think third best or
Yeah.
something in the six, and you don't mind that, a bit of recognition from the coach, and no, good game. So
Yeah, unfortunately we lost, but we didn't have anyone on the bench for the whole game. And then when
Yeah.
I went down and I think someone else went down, we had 16 against 18, and then they had about 4 or 5 on the bench. And we only lost by about 5-6 goals. And I reckon with a healthy team with guys on the bench, we can easily beat those guys.
no rotations absolutely does.
it
happened
really
to,
does.
It's
happened
lost
to
me a
Latrobe.
coaching grand final.
Yeah, well, it's happened to Latrobe a couple of times this year in both resis and seniors,
Yeah,
and in the last quarter, it's been a bloodbath.
it's-
Like they've piled on.
yeah, it's
Because
shocking.
once you just no rotations, the boys are
They're
struggling.
gassed. Yeah,
Can't have a 5-minute breather, and then the other team starts just getting
Yeah.
on top big time. But no, it sounds like you're having a ripping year down at Bully and Templestowe.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, that's for sure. Training tonight, so can't wait for that. And then the other day, I interviewed Rishi Patel, English cricketer, in the county championship for for an assignment that we have, but I recorded on Scribe Sports interview series. Yeah, great to talk to him. Got a lot of good stuff out of him, and yeah, he was really really good with the interview. Answered all the questions quite well. This is actually my first kind of one-on-one interview with someone, and he's all the way in England, so yeah, it wasn't face to face; it was on the phone, but it went really well, and yeah, I thought the interview was a success.
Yeah, no, I've heard a few reviews on. I gave it a little listen. I got to get through it, but yeah, obviously shared in the Ball and Saints group by your father, Chris, and no, obviously a lot of good reviews and had a bit of a listen and sounded good. So yeah, if you want to listen to a talented cricketer and Rishi, have a listen.
Not quite.
Nah.
Says the Brownlow medalist.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
true.
Let's move on.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been good.
Yeah,
We'll get into the sports talk then, Mansell.
Yeah, well, big week of footy. Some games left, right, and centre that some blowouts, some close wins. But we'll start off with Brisbane Carlton on Friday night, and Brisbane 5 unanswered goals in the third term, which gave them their 5th win in a row. I suppose my question to you boys is that we now look at the Blues. They're half a game inside the 8. Their next 5 games, they've got the Dogs on Saturday night, who have won their last 3. Then they face the Pies, who are on top of the ladder with a record of 7-1. Then they've got the Swans, who haven't lost a game at the SCG by under a kick since this time last year. Then we've got the D's, who have won their last 7 against the Blues, dating back to 2016. And then they've got Essendon, who were 4-1 to start the season. Suppose, Blair, we'll put it to you. Should we be worried about the Blues and their hopes of making finals?
Yeah, look, I think the Blues. It happened last year. They come out of the blocks. People go. There's a lot of talk about them in the media, fans, a lot of hype. And look, I think they should be worried. You just have to listen to the tough sort of run you listed off there. And yeah, nothing's coming easy. Their next 5 odd games, it's going to be tough. They're going to have to really earn these. If they're going to get wins on the board, have to earn them big time.
Every year, the Carlton faithful, they just get too excited too quickly.
Book their grand final tickets and they don't even make finals.
And they had a great start to the year, that's for sure. But they just, they're on the way down ever so slowly, and you can see it. And we're not even halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And their run's not easy for the next month. I think
I don't see them making finals.
Worrying signs for the Blues. But speaking of the opposition, the Lions, once again, like you just never know with what you're going to get with them. And I think we all tipped I think someone tipped Brisbane here.
I think there were 2 Carlton, 2 Brisbane.
Okay, so it was even. But I tipped Carlton myself just because I thought, Brisbane, you just never know. And Carlton were coming off a 108-point win against West Coast. But yeah, Brisbane, you just never know what you get with them. And they pulled off a comfortable win against the Blues. And yeah, would you say for Brisbane boys that would you say premiership favourites still? Or I know Hugo disagrees with this one.
Oh,
I'd say contenders, but I don't think they're...
I think they're contenders. I don't think
like
they're
top
the
4?
outright favourites.
Top 4 though?
I'd say between 2 to 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say between 2 to 6 as well. No, but I think we can start to trust Brisbane a lot more. Like they've won 5 on the trot, I think.
Yeah, 5 on the trot now.
Yeah, 5 on the trot.
Yeah.
There's in that regular season mode where they're just pretty hard to beat. So they're starting to hum a little bit, the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah, all wins have been very convincing in that time period as well. So they've got the consistency in their game now, but you always do have that thought in your back of your mind, a bit of doubt, because when it gets to finals, especially in previous years, they just haven't cut it, and particularly a few of their more important players have really, kind of let the team down in finals. So it will be an interesting watch, but I do agree with the lads. Probably somewhere 2 to 6, but I see them making top 4. So probably 3rd or 4th, and everyone knows you got to make the top 4 to sort of be in the window and give yourself a chance. So I think they will give themselves a chance. But it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But there's always a bit of doubt there with Brisbane, but Carlton, worrying signs. Really, they seem pretenders at this stage, and I think I heard a few podcasts, and Wayne Carey said they're definitely gone. Not that his words are credible, but yeah, it doesn't look good for them. And the next 5 weeks will have a huge bearing on where they'll end up at the end of the season.
Yeah, just quickly on Brisbane, when they win good, and that's why we start to go, yeah, look, they're a real chance, because they don't, very rarely they don't put teams away. If they get up and they're gonna win, they win. They win well, and they have beat D's this year, and they've beat Pies, and while they've pumped a few ordinary sides in your North and those sort of teams, to knock off Melbourne and knock off Collingwood, who are probably the 2 favourites for the flag. Look, they're going all right, Brisbane, and it'll be whether or not they can, and they've got September experience. It'll be whether or not they can stack it up when it comes end of the year. They're going to be up there. They'll be playing finals and going probably having a good chance to go deep, but I don't know if they can, I don't know if the grand finals theirs this year though.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to other games in the round, and if we have a look at the Saturday games, Richmond had a strong second half against the Eagles to get it done by about 50 points. Geelong have made it their last 9 that they've won now at GMHBA with a 26-point win over the Crows. Melbourne nearly suffered a scare against the Gold Coast Suns. Darcy McPherson missed a shot with 15 seconds left that would have tied the game.
Straight in front as well. Should have got it.
Yeah,
He was
I
probably
actually
trying
haven't
to
seen
rush
the
it.
kick.
Yeah, he was probably trying to run back and rush it, and just probably stressing about that, thinking yeah, let's tie it up, but then let's get it back and we give us a chance to win it. But yeah, you got to kick it first, and he sprayed it. It was never going in.
Yeah. Freo won big over the Hawks to get their season back on track. And let's go through this one, boys. The Dogs and the Giants. The Dogs got it done in Canberra. I want to speak about the Bulldogs. So obviously we touched on that they've got Carlton next week. This weekend. They've won their last 3. Are the Dogs the real deal?
Look, I like the Dogs this year. I think I don't know what it is really, but I have more confidence, I think, this year than other years I have had in them. Guys like Bont's probably having a career best year. He's probably, right now, you look at it, he's every chance to win the Brownlow. He's having a ripping year. Tim English has been good. When they get it right, they've had Bailey Smith back in. I think they've got a very good side on paper. It's whether or not they can keep it up, sort of. But I think Dogs, they make finals and they're a danger, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if they're the real deal, but I reckon they can put up a challenge for some of the teams that are
Cause some upsets.
Yeah, I think so. But you look at them on the ladder, they're just in the 8 at the moment with a pretty poor percentage. So I don't think they have quite got it yet. Really I think a few of their players are really stepping up, which is why they're winning these games. But I wouldn't say they're the real deal just of yet. But again, they can definitely pose a challenge to some of the better teams in the comp. I just want to look at the Bont though, boys. His last month has been incredible. I mean, you look at the game against the Giants, 32 touches, 14 clearances, and a goal to his name. I mean, he's doing
7 tackles,
and he's doing that every week. I mean, he's really stepping up this year. I mean, he's been doing it for a while, and I guess you could almost say he's been robbed with a Brownlow, but he's looking really good.
Yeah, and listening, obviously fortunate enough to go to Bevo's presser the other week before Bont's 200th, and he spoke a lot about the Bont and the player he is, and he was not
200th game as well on the weekend.
And Bevo did not deny. I think one of the questions from a journo was, is he in career best form? Is he playing the best footy he ever has? And Bevo couldn't really say no to that. He said, look, he's played, hard to say, he's played a lot of good footy and had a lot of good years, but his last 4 or 5 games have been pretty incredible, really. And for a bloke that's so tall and dominant, you can't really get him holding the ball. He always gets it out. Contested is there, tackles is there, marks is there. He's getting clearances that are ridiculous, and he hits the scoreboard as well. The Bont. He's
he does
I don't know how many goals he's kicked this year, but it feels like he's kicking a goal a game.
Probably a few.
Yeah, it feels like he's nearly getting a goal a game. He's going well.
Yeah, well, it's the second best rated season by a midfielder on record, so that says enough. Like you said, incredible year so far. Consider like statistically last year had a good year, but I think a lot of people thought he was sort of down on what he can do, and yeah, he showed this year, his real talent and capacity just to impact games week in, week out. So it was good, and obviously Tom Green that game as well was incredible in a losing side. I think he might have had 36 or 7 throws.
38 and 3.
38 kick 3.
He's
so,
looking really good as well.
and he almost won him. Like got him back to a couple goals. And
Yeah.
Probably
almost won him the game.
probably Giants' most important player.
Especially after, Toronto and Hopper going.
Yeah.
Green is their man now. He's their
he's stepping up.
midfielder. And he is, yeah.
Toby Green was out as well.
And that didn't help
Yeah.
Giants because obviously Green can play in the midfield too. But yeah, look, I watched the game. It was in the background. It was actually at 21st, I forgot to mention. So it was in the background of that, but it just seemed just a bit of a boring game. Whenever they played at Canberra, it's a bit boring for a Saturday night footy game. But anyway, close game, and yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll move on to Sunday's games now, and one game I sort of want to talk to you about in detail is that Port and Essendon game. Port were down by 21 and came back and won by 5 points. Nearly kicked themselves out of it. 12 goals, 20 in the end. But I suppose, a win's a win, and Port have now got 5 on the trot, as we sort of speak about with the Lions. They've got 5 on the trot. Essendon, I think, have lost their last 3. Boys, I sort of want to ask a couple of questions to sort of coincide with both camps. Start off with Port. Will Port now make finals on the back of this? And I suppose with Essendon, is their honeymoon period over? Owen,
Yeah, I think Port can make the 8, and they've got the players as well. Pretty good list. Can Essendon? I think a bit like Carlton, they've had a really good start to the year, but they're starting to lose these games where, they should have won. They should have been in Port on the weekend, and they lost to Geelong.
They should have beat Collingwood.
They should be winning games, but they can't. And I guess you have to be winning these close games, to be a threat in the competition. So it's tough again because we're not even halfway through the season. But yeah, I think Port can definitely make the 8, and Essendon, I don't really see them making the 8. Maybe just outside, but they got to really find the form that they had in the first 4 rounds.
Yeah, Essendon, the only really teams that have beaten, the only good side they've really beaten is Melbourne this year. The other sides have been North, Giants, I think Suns were one. That they haven't beaten any, and the games where they've had a chance to beat really good sides or better teams, in that Collingwood, that's a choke. Shouldn't have lost that. 28 up at 3/4 time, doesn't matter what side you are. And I know Collingwood, that's what they do, but you need to be able to secure a win from that. And also, Geelong, they weren't that. It was 5 goals in the end, but they scored over 100, and they had a crack. But to lose by, even though Port probably deserved it with the kicking, Essendon to lose by, 5 points was it, I think?
Yeah, 5 points in
It's disappointing to lose. They've lost a couple close ones that if they won, if they win the Collingwood one and the one on the weekend and take their chances, they're really starting to, nearly do all their work early and set themselves up well. But I think it is over for them. Well, the honeymoon phase. I think they're going to start facing some good sides, and they're gonna struggle. Because they've probably still got. I don't know what their draw is coming up, but I imagine they've got some decent sides coming up.
Well, they've got Brisbane this week on Saturday night, and Carlton are down the track, as we said before.
Yeah, I still feel like Essendon are on the right track though. You can say they've been a bit unlucky. You can also sort of say that they've been disappointing not to, close out those close games. But I feel like they're on the right track. Whether they make finals or not, it's a tough question to answer. They're going to be sort of there and thereabouts if they can kind of continue playing the way they have been, and structure and everything looks a bit better for them this year. So if they don't, it'll be disappointing for fans, but and they've been told this a lot, but I think they're on the right track with what they're doing to start this year, and have surprised a few teams. And although you said they've only beat Melbourne, being a good side, they've been really close to beating a couple, top 8 sides. And, and Collingwood, especially, obviously, top of the ladder. So, a little bit like a few other teams. They've got to finish their work a bit better, and the whole thing looks a lot different for them. So I'd give them a chance still.
Yeah, it's probably just execution for them, really.
Yeah.
I think they've had a crack. They're being competitive, close out games, and then they sort of polish it off.
Yeah. Well, we'll go into the other Sunday games, and the Pies win by 29 points over the Swans. Connor, you were speaking about possession before. Sydney had 60 more marks than what Collingwood did, yet the Pies were able to get it done. And then, Blair, you were even speaking about execution. 4 goals 10 to 8 goals 16 in that game at Marvel under the roof, but the Saints get it done by 5 goals. We want to go into round 9. Boys, there's some games here that I suppose could shape the season. We've obviously spoken about how teams have been tracking at the moment, but I'm going to go through all the games, and then, boys, I want you to give me your tips all the way through. So Friday night, there's 2 games on Friday night. There's Richmond Geelong at the G, and then West Coast and Gold Coast at 8:40 over in Perth. Then Saturday Arvo, we've got Sydney and Freo, and also North and Port in Hobart. Then Hawthorn and Melbourne, the twilight game at the G at 4:35. Saturday night, we've got Brisbane and Essendon at the Gabba, and Carlton Bulldogs at Marvel. And then 2 games on Mother's Day, Adelaide St Kilda, Adelaide Oval in the early game, and then Collingwood and GWS to round out the round at the G at 4:30. Owen, we'll start with you. If you could give us your tips for the week and your certainty.
All right. Well, we're going to be going to this game, actually, at the G on Friday. But I got to back my Catters against Richmond. But I think it'll be a close game. West Coast over... Oh, actually, that's a weird... Gee, why have AFL done this? Why have they done a crossover?
Well, they did it a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago.
It's dumb. It's not... Yeah, okay. Actually, this is a weird game. Actually, I go with the Suns. Suns over West Coast at Optus. Saturday, I'm going to go Swans over Freo, Port over North, Melbourne over Hawthorn, Brisbane over Essendon, and this will be a good game. I'm gonna go the Dogs over Carlton because I reckon the Bont will just light it up. On Sunday, I'm gonna go Crows over Saints, and I'm gonna go Collingwood over GWS, and Collingwood is my certainty.
Okay, Connor.
Yeah, like Owen said before, going to the Friday night game, so let's hope for a good game. I'll back in the Tigers. I mean, you have to. They're big underdogs, really, but Dion Press is 200, so hopefully they can get up.
Coming off a great game, the Meatball too. I know it's against West Coast,
minutes,
but hit 3 snags in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
30-odd posies.
And also going to say Dangerfield's out, so Tom Stewart's going to be captain.
And
yeah, right.
I'm sure Richmond fans will love that.
They're going to absolutely love that.
Yeah, well, it's a boost for our midfield with Dangerfield out, no doubt. But yeah, I'll back in the Tigers. And then Gold Coast, obviously another Friday night game. Don't know how many people watch this one, but
They'll be lucky to get a few thousand.
yeah, Gold Coast will get it done over West Coast. Obviously, West Coast is decimated. What can you say? Sydney will come out and win well, have a big win over Freo. And
That's an important game for both teams.
yeah, especially Sydney. I reckon they haven't won a game. They've barely won a game in the past month. I reckon the last game they won was against Richmond. Yeah, so not for a while, but they'll get up by a lot. Port Adelaide will beat North Melbourne. Melbourne will beat Hawthorn, by a lot. Brisbane to beat Essendon pretty comfortably. And, I reckon that'll be my certainty. I'm going to go Brisbane. Western Bulldogs will beat Carlton. They're just playing better. St Kilda will, although they won last week, they'll get back on track in a sense and play the footy they're capable of and beat the Crom, I reckon. And Collingwood, I see them getting over the Giants.
Hugo.
We haven't heard Hugo all episode. He's been watching the Lakers.
Yeah, and he's been a bit quiet now because we just rolled them. Let's go.
He's been holding signals and all that stuff, and not speaking. So
15-point loss for the Lakers.
What happened last time we got blown out? I think we won the next game, and if we win the next game, it's over. I think so.
Someone
just keep wiping away your tears from today, mate.
Nah, we're still up, so it's all right. I'll go Tigers. Oh no, sorry. I'll go Cats.
Whoa.
Oh,
Cat-
come on, mate. Back
He's
in the
rattled.
Tigers.
Sorry.
Back in
I'll
the
go
Tigers,
Cats.
dog.
Cats over Tigers.
Welcome back
Suns
to the
over
podcast.
Eagles. Thanks. Swans over Freo. Port over North. D's over Hawks. Lions over Essendon. Bulldogs over Carlton. Saints over Crows. No Max King this week, which is a bit sad, but that's all right.
Oh, is that official?
Yeah, no, we're giving him an extra week. That's all right. Just play the long game. And then with Pies over Giants, and that's my certainty as well.
Okay. And Blair to round it off.
Yeah, Tigers got it back in the boys. I copped a bit of flack for not doing that. So we'll do that, even though we're quite depleted. Could be a bloodbath. That's okay. West Coast to beat the Suns at home. I've just
That's risky.
yeah, it is risky, but I'm like 8 tips behind you guys.
Yeah,
something,
you
so,
are.
you
They're
know.
due for a win, West Coast. Let's be honest.
Sydney to beat Freo. Port Adelaide pump North. Melbourne murder Hawthorn, and that's my certainty. Brisbane to beat Essendon. I think I backed Carlton last week, so Dogs this week. Get it done against Carlton. Adelaide get it done against the Saints over at Adelaide Oval. I think Adelaide have showed a bit, so I backed them in, and the Pies should beat Giants pretty easily. I think this week there's a lot of sort of ones that look pretty one-sided.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my tips.
Just quickly before we move on from the AFL, I know I wasn't really listening, so this may have been brought up or not, but I think it would have been. But just Daniel Hoyne, the champion data guy,
No, it hasn't been brought up.
No.
he's come out and said that statistically speaking, Machado Owens is having a better season than Nick Dacos. So
Actually, I have seen that somewhere. He was ranked what, 4th or something in the third, and then Nick Dacos was 4th.
yep,
Yeah.
I have seen that, but you know,
I think bang for buck, Machado Owens.
what's champion data get you when Dacos is probably leading the Brownlow, and I don't know if Machado Owens is up there.
No, he won't be up there because he plays forward, and we all know it's midfield's medal and a halfback's medal,
Oh,
obviously as well. But no, I'm just saying, Machado Owens, rising star.
I've got something to bring up as well. I saw on Twitter, like this has rattled me. Apparently, someone tweeted, it's got many retweets and likes, that my cricket database as of the end of the year is actually going down. No, I'm serious. I'm not joking. My cricket, no more.
It's probably
Moves
good. It's probably good for all of us.
well, it converts to game day apparently, and apparently
Oh, game day.
historical stats and data of my cricket will not be brought across. And yeah, so I mean,
Gotta do your own stats.
Got a screenshot. I'm 50. I made the other 4 days.
yeah, so boys, yeah, you might have to save those stats if you want. Look, I've been praying for this for years, and then I have a good season with the ball, and now this happens. Look,
Just take a photo, mate.
yeah, I'll have to, but yeah, that's just what I heard. So,
What was once a Brownlow winner will be drowning his sorrows with those stats wiped away. So-
Headline. Headline.
yeah,
Nah, that's pretty
sure.
average if that's right. So
It's rumours,
My
but-
career, just sort yourselves out, boys, or game days.
Oh, I can't wait to see what the Grubs have to say about this. They'll be
Oh,
flat as hell. But anyway, we move on from that. But yeah, it's just a bit of a dampener for your whatever Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, now we've got to try and lift the mood in the room. Owen, if you want to take it away with Supercoach.
Another week of Supercoach last week. We'll get into the results. So I beat Blair by about 100 points.
I fully forgot about Supercoach for last week. Well, I haven't even looked at it, to be honest.
And once again, Hugo having another win. Connor with another loss. Nothing changes there. But again, pretty close matchups for all of us there. And we look into the ladder, and nothing changes with that. I remain on top. Hugo second, Blair third, and Connor last. And this week, the Burns boys are against each other, and I'll be against Hugo. What's your name, Blair?
What's your name?
Blair, you were pretty upset with you losing against me, mainly because on the last game of the round, Zeeble pulls out a 179 and Goulden pulls out a 150, and they're both on my team. And you thought that got me over the line.
Well, I think my Sydney game, I pulled a 61 from Heaney.
Heaney has to go.
Well, yeah, maybe he does. I've got a few rethinks here, but yeah, I mean, I backed. I thought I mightn't win, but I thought, look, it's going to come down to the wire. The projected looked close. I was like, I'm a chance to just, if I can,
Sneak
Heaney
in.
can sneak 100, and then I can just get like projected even, I would have taken that result because I can guarantee you Zebra was not projected 180. But yeah, to have those two massive scores in the last, like there is a hole. It's left a hole this year in me that Josh Ward got it done against me in the last game. And now
that was incredible.
And now I've copped Zeeble and Gordon getting it done in the last game really as well. And it does sting a bit. But look, back to I think I've got the bye again this week. So, back to it.
Connor is getting better though. He's
but
that close.
Has he ever beat anyone?
He hasn't got a win.
He's
yet.
0-8.
I'm so close to a break for it. It's not funny, but like it was a joke, and it's beyond a joke now. Like when you lose 8 on the trot, like I thought it might get to 4 was bad. 4 in a row was bad. Double that 8. Well, there's no words for that. No description.
He's where we expected
how shit that is.
He's where we expected Hugo to be this year.
But Hugo's second, and he's doing well.
Yeah, and it stings that I put the research in. Really stings. Obviously, it wasn't great research, but yeah, I don't know. All we can do is move on to next week and try to change up the magnet, switch it up a bit, and hope that things quick. But they haven't yet. But it is getting there. Like it's you gotta.
You're not far.
Glass half full sort of man. You gotta look at the positives. I am getting there. I'm just getting the wrong matchups in the wrong weeks.
No, that's fair enough.
It's costing me dearly.
Just don't think you're good.
Well, before we finish up, let's get into a bit of the
That can be
NBA
said
talk.
too.
A little bit of the NBA talk, and we also need Jackson's Cerny tip for the NBA. But Jackson?
I can see Hugo's immediately changing the score to 2-3 in way of the Lakers. I think he was a bit of a dampener note that was for him there, but it had to be done. There is one thing I want to touch on about the Lakers Warriors series. I did controversially say last week that in my Scribe Sports article that LeBron will be clamped up. I should have clarified that it would mean that he wouldn't have the same impact that it usually has. But I suppose that being said, I think I've cracked into something here. I was going through some stats last night. If we look at the averages over each series in LeBron's career, and you add up the averages of the points, rebounds, and assists, over that series, LeBron this series, obviously prior to the game. The game today, he's had averaged 23.3 points a game, 8.8 rebounds, and 5.3 assists, which gives him a tally of 37.4. That tally is the 4th lowest of his playoff career. If we look at the other 3,
that's harsh.
3rd is the 2006-7 finals against the Spurs, which was clamped up by the Spurs defense. 2nd was the 2013-14 Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers, which Paul George did a number on him. And then number 1 is the 2010-11 Finals against the Mavs, which resulted in the Mavs winning the championship. And that defense there was, one of the best defenses that we've seen in a few years. So I think I'm onto something here.
Just on it's good stuff from you, man. So won't take that away from you, but it's like saying that this was it the 4th worst?
4th lowest, yeah. In
LeBron's playoff career. It's like saying that Jesus turning the wine into water was his worst miracle. It's LeBron James.
That's good.
But he's played to a higher level for so long.
Well, the fact that Jesus turned water into wine and not wine into water was is a bit worrying. But I mean, the thing is, right?
He also parted the Red Sea.
Okay.
No, that was Moses.
That was Moses.
Yeah. That's ordinary for me.
They're all religious men.
Well, that being said, though,
that's a shock.
I get what you're saying, but we're looking at these numbers. So 37.4.
Did you go to a Catholic school?
Is where you're at.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah. 31.8 is his lowest. But you look at the numbers that he's had in his prime. He's had 50 and 57 in certain areas, like in averages. Which, what I'm trying to say is that we know what the man is capable of, but we're not seeing it to the extent. And I didn't think we would see it to that extent. That's what I'm trying to.
Well,
hash.
I think in LeBron's career for the first time, really, not for the first time, that's harsh, but he's got some very good depth on his team for once, which we haven't always seen from a LeBron James-led team. So he doesn't have to, go solo. Sorry, these boys. Nah, oh, I forgot what I was going to
But
say.
yeah, well,
no.
I get what you're saying though. Yeah.
So LeBron's had help, more often, and like, dude, speaking on the Cavs sort of series and stuff,
Yeah.
prime LeBron,
Yeah.
it's just about the greatest individual effort we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Probably bar
and
Michael
and
Jordan.
that was what was number one. It was that
Yeah.
it was that series there, and I mean, like, yeah, I said one or two things needed to happen. I said either LeBron needs to excel and get back to his prime best, or he needs the support cast to actually help him out, and that's exactly what we're seeing there. We're seeing Lakers are one game away from winning the series, believe it or not, and AD's been doing his bit. Even Lonnie Walker won that game for you in the fourth a couple of days ago. So there is definitely some pieces there. There's definitely some things getting done, and I think they are going to beat the Lakers come Game 6. So
Well, Golden State will win Game 6.
no, the Lakers will win Game 6.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Good to we could see eye to eye on a situation. Anyway, we'll move on into the other games. So obviously Denver and Phoenix. Denver are one game away from winning that series. Jokic 35, 10, and 14. He's averaging 4 for the series. While Durant and Booker, they have got themselves back in the series with some elite shooting themselves. Then we've got New York and Miami. Miami are one game away from taking that series against New York, which I suppose does bring me to my certainty. I reckon Miami will beat New York in Game 6 in Miami. And then we've got Boston and Philly, and as much as it pains me to say it, Philly are one game away from it, and I'm worried. I think the thing is, although Embiid's not putting up his average of 45 points a game, we're not combating him like we should be. Robert Williams needs some more time on the floor. Played in the last 2 games, he's played 14 and 19 minutes respectively, both in losses. And with the win that we had, the blowout, he was playing 22 minutes. So the defensive part was there. Boys, I want to get your thoughts on I suppose Embiid. You tried telling me so, but yeah.
Well, I've said it all year, man. So it was always going to happen, mate. Boston going out prematurely. They've made an absolute living of it the last few years.
What about your mate Crawford?
When you got to...
Why is he so old?
Mate, when you have a bloke that's like 36, 37 years old, Al Horford, and you're relying on him to stop the best player in the game, adjudicated the best player in the game, being the MVP himself. So, mate, they're in all sorts, let's be honest. The fact that you have reliance on Horford, yeah, they're in real trouble, mate.
Yeah.
And you know it, and like we were saying about LeBron before, and you're saying that he's down a bit. Well, at least he's not costing your team games, Whereas Al Horford is too old, probably should give it up, mate.
Oh, it's Horford, not Crawford. I don't even know his
And-
last name. 'Cause I got
and
Alan
mate,
Crawford.
And Williams a third, mate. Let's be honest, he's not much better. Puts up.
But he
let's see if
hasn't
can
had
put
the
up 22,
opportunity.
22 points or something remarkable,
But
mate.
I explained
Let's
this
see if
to
he
you
can put
off
up that.
air, right? Are you expecting a full back to kick 5 goals a game?
Mate,
That is basically
he's
what
on
we're
the
saying.
court. You can score on the
hit
court.
the
Yeah,
post hard.
But he's also a defender. A footy
but-
player's on the footy field. You know what I'm...
Yeah, the footy
And-
field's massive.
end
but
to
still.
end, mate. He's a full back and he's a full forward.
Yeah.
He's
But-
a full back and he's a full forward, so he should
but
be able to
he's
kick
predominantly
goals.
more of like a full-back based player. Like,
He should be getting 10 spoils and kicking 10 goals, mate. You know what I mean? Yes.
I don't know what you mean.
Get in the post.
I
be aggressive.
Look,
get-
I don't know basketball well, but all
Stop
I'm saying
staying
is
outside and shooting
all I'm
a little
saying is
slow 3-pointer. Al Horford.
the AFL grounds
Grow
are
up
much
there, mate.
much bigger playing area than the basketball court. So if you're on the basketball court, you can defend and also score.
Yeah, but that's not his primary
Well,
role.
he can score.
Mate,
he can
but
help a
But
little bit.
I get what you're saying about Al Horford. I'm annoyed with the fact that
He's
Al
costing
Horford
you,
is...
mate.
Should hang him
Yeah.
up.
He's 36.
Robert
Should be spending
Williams
time
should,
with his kids.
Robert
if he hasn't.
Williams should be playing more time. The fact that Boston said that they were priming Robert Williams for the playoffs to bring that grunt and that tenacity, and yet when it comes to the playoffs and we're basically in an SOS, where like we're not playing him, is worrying. Like, I agree with you. Like, Horford should not be playing those minutes. Like, he should be coming off the bench and playing his part there. But I think Williams is probably the more likely of the two in that season.
But if Al Horford's going to play, if he's going to continue to play these amounts of minutes, I want to see him inside more. He sort of sits around 3 at times with the slowest shooting action you'll ever see. I don't know how people don't swat it into the bloody second tier. It's that bad. But, like, show a bit of aggression, Al. Like, he's played some good games against, like, Brooklyn Nets, against us, but he can't do it against anyone else.
Who doesn't have an easy game against Brooklyn Nets?
Mate, he doesn't do it against anyone else, and he's got to take a good hard look at himself right now, Al, and think, am I good enough to be in this side and be in this league?
I'll hang him up, mate.
But, like, it's just what they do, boss. Like, they fall short. Like,
Oh, he's painting, man.
it's a little hate session, but, like, they are falling short, mate. Last year, I don't know how they didn't get up either. They had that much depth, and they don't get up. And then this year, mate, this is... If they lose this series, it's more disappointing than Milwaukee going out, to be honest.
It ain't over till it's over. So
Yeah, and all games are actually quite evenly poised, 3-2 in each of the games.
Yeah, the Warriors.
we've just got to get it done on the road, and we've done it.
Get it
before.
done.
It'll be interesting to see.
Road.
Yeah, obviously Philly in the better position. Miami are, Lakers are, and Denver are in the better positions in each of their games. You never know what could happen. That's not over till it's over. But so you're certainly Jackson just to make sure Miami in Game 6.
Yep, over the Knicks
Over
at
the
home.
Knicks, radio. All good then.
Let's hope the Knicks get up.
Let's hope the Knicks get up. All right, boys. I think we're all done here. It's been a good episode. Thank you to all the listeners out there for tuning in. Make sure to keep up to date with the socials. Make sure to get down Monday afternoon to watch Jackson take on J-Mac.
You know where to be.
You know where to be. And we'll see you all next week.
You know what it is.